Hi guys, today we are going to draw a very simple reindeer. So earlier this week we created very simple polar bears, and now we're going to draw a reindeer. So we're going to start with a white piece of paper. I have a 9 by 12 piece. You may have one that's a little bit smaller. You may have a sketchbook that you're working out of, or copy paper, or maybe even notebook paper. So whatever you're working on, I like to work with my paper this direction, not wide like in a landscape form, but tall, so it's vertical. And if you have a big enough paper, you want to make sure that your reindeer is going to fill the whole paper. So when you make the head, you want to make sure that the head is about the size of your hand. I have a bigger hand than you, but you want to make sure that when you draw the head, it's about that big. So I'm not going to trace my hand, but I am going to draw an oval about where I just had my hand. Connect it down here. So that's going to be my oval right there. You don't want it too small. You're going to lose your detail if you have it too small. So we're going to start with that. And then I like to draw just a little tiny piece of the neck down below. So I like to kind of draw one side and then the other of what is going to be his neck or her neck. But this isn't all. We're actually going to draw another oval. So instead of making our oval kind of standing up like this, we're going to make our oval kind of laying down like this. And what this is going to end up being, it's going to be the knot in our scarf, because our reindeer are going to be outside and they're kind of cold. So right here, I'm going to draw an oval kind of, it looks more like an egg this way. And that's going to be the little scarf for my reindeer. So this is just the knotted part. Now we have to have the parts that sort of hang down on the scarf. So instead of making another oval, this time I'm going to make a long rectangle coming out. I'm going to do another one this way. There's my long rectangles. So we've got our head. This is going to be our head. Just a little bit showing of the neck, because you know that's where we wear our scarves, is around our neck. So we just have the tiniest little bit showing here. And then here is our scarf. Now, if you want to make your scarf a little different than how I made mine, that is definitely okay. This is just how I did mine. And I might even make little fringe coming off the end. Why not? Okay, so there's the fringe coming up. So now it looks like we have a head but no body. So I'm just going to make a simple body. And I'm going to make a line going all the way down to the edge of the paper, like so. So you won't see a whole lot of your reindeer's body. You're just going to see kind of the top half. So now we are going to work on the face. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make almost like a rainbow shape, kind of all the way through my head. And that's going to show that our reindeer actually have noses that kind of stick out. Kind of like in our polar bear, we made that little space around the nose that showed there was depth there. So I'm going to do just like so. And this is going to show kind of the nose area. Not the nose, but the nose area on our face. How it kind of sticks up forward. I like to call it a snout, but it's really not what it's called. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to draw the nose. So right below this line, we're going to draw a nose. And I'm going to draw just a circle. You can draw an oval. You can draw a circle. You can make it more of a real nose shape if you like, kind of like what we did on our bear. It is up to you. But this is going to be my nose. Now here's the fun and exciting part where we get to kind of make our reindeer look a little different. So depending on how we make the eyes, we need to match the mouth, because that's what's going to show the expression and the emotion and the feelings on our reindeer. So if they're happy, we might make a smile and wide, maybe like cutie eyes for the matching eyes to the mouth. Or what if he's angry? What if he missed something or didn't get something that he wanted and he's kind of angry and throwing a fit? He might have a straight line for his mouth and angry, sharp eyes at the top. He could be scared. He could be nervous. He could be happy. We've got all kinds of feelings and emotions right now. So maybe mine is going to be a little bit scared. So I'm going to draw his mouth like this, where it kind of looks like his mouth is open. And maybe he's kind of yelling or whimpering a little bit. Maybe he's worried about the weather. I don't know. So now I need to make sure that my eyes kind of match. So I'm going to draw big ovals for my eyes. Now my eyes aren't finished. We talk about this all of the time, right? This is just the beginning to your eyes. We need to actually add all the different parts of the eye. So this is the white of the eye, sort of like the eyeball part. Then we also need to add the iris and then the pupil. So the iris is the part that's going to have color. The pupil is the part that kind of lets light in and we can see through. And I'm going to color it mostly in, but I'm going to leave a little bit of a highlight. Now, if you aren't doing this with a Sharpie, which you shouldn't be doing this with a Sharpie, you're not going to want to color that in with pencil. You're probably going to want to wait for a color to color that in. Now, I might actually have some little concern. Oh, he's starting to look angry. I don't know. And I can even add eyelashes if I want. That's totally up to you. But they're all starting to kind of take on their own shape. So the next thing I'm going to do, he's looking a little empty, or she is looking a little empty at the top. So what I'm going to do is on either side, I'm going to draw the ears. So I like to do it this way. I like to make a frown and then a smile. So I'm going to do it on this side again. I'm going to do a frown and I'm going to do a smile. So if I'm going too fast, which there's a very good chance that I am, you guys know that you can always pause it and rewind it as needed and get caught up, because you guys should be doing it with a pencil so that you can make any changes. And if you want to go over it later with a marker or a black crayon, you can. But that way you guys can kind of pause it, erase something and fix it and get it just the way you want. Now, if you want to add something like a hat on, you can do that. If you want to add the antlers, you can do that as well. You can add details to the scarf if you wanted to add some kind of pattern. Make it look like it's kind of tucked in. You don't see the whole pattern. You could add a jersey, a football jersey, or a soccer jersey, or whatever it is that you like. Your favorite t-shirt. It doesn't have to be a scarf, or it doesn't have to just be a scarf. You can definitely add details and add a shirt if you would like. Let's see, you could add a little hat. It's hard for me to add a hat because I have mine in Sharpie, so I can't erase this line. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add the antlers. I'm going to show you how I do the antlers, the easiest way that I know how to do the antlers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up kind of toward the corner. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to start at the top of the head, and I'm going to go up toward the corner. So that's going to show each one of my antlers. And then I'm going to start another line, and I'm not going to go up as far, though. I'm going to stop about halfway. About halfway. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Okay, and now I like to just add kind of these little wavy lines. So I like to go in, like so, wavy lines. You can make yours any which way. So here's where it becomes fun. We can add all kinds of details to the background like we did for our bears. You can add details, keep adding details to your cute little reindeer. It doesn't have to be Christmassy, by the way. Nothing about mine so far looks like Christmas, other than the fact that sometimes we think about reindeer at Christmas time. But if I wanted to add details, maybe I could string some lights up from her antlers and add cute little lights so she looks very decorative. I could add earrings if I wanted to add earrings to her ears. Sometimes people like to do that. Give her some pretty earrings. I could add something to the background as well. I could do snowflakes. There's so many things that you can add on to yours to make it kind of fun and unique to you. And I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. Don't just leave it plain though. Make sure that you add color. So you might want to just stop drawing today. This is already is about 10 minutes long. So you might want to stop today and then add all of your color tomorrow. Or you can keep going through, but you're going to have 2 days to finish this. You're going to have today and then tomorrow to finish this. So you can add whatever you want to your reindeer and to the background. So I'm going to pause my video and I'm going to color mine in real quick. And that way you can see all of the details that I add into the background to my cute little reindeer and maybe even to the antlers. So hang tight. Okay, so I'm back and I was kind of having fun adding all these details to my story. Really, this reindeer has turned into, there was a whole story, right? I kind of drew her and she almost looks like maybe she's in a panic. So I thought, what could she be in a panic about? So here I am, and I'm thinking she's decorating these trees, and it just got all the way, the lights are wrapped around her antlers, and she can't get them off her antlers and onto the trees around her. So I kind of added all these details, and then it got me thinking about another thing that you guys may not be aware of, and that's sometimes you can paint with markers. Now you have to have the certain kind of markers. So I would test these out on a different paper. Don't test it out on your paper. Maybe grab a scrap paper, like a piece of junk paper that maybe you messed up on, and test them out. But sometimes we can draw with markers. I like to use the Crayola. The washable markers work the best. So I have bold colors here, and then I have just the regular classic markers here. And this is what you do when I say you paint with markers. You can add just a little bit of color without adding all of the color. So I've got all these little details in my tree. So instead of making the whole tree green, which I can do that too, I can absolutely make my whole tree green. But the way it works is you kind of add those details, a little bit of color. Notice how I've got my just plain water over here, and I kind of dabbed off the edge of my brush. Now if you go over these, you'll have a little bit of a value in your tree. So the darker areas and the lighter areas of green. I'm going to be very careful not to go over my ornaments there, but it'll add a little bit of value into your tree. If you only have crayons, or if you prefer to do this whole project with crayons, that is totally fine too. Crayons would be really cute. In fact, that's what I was going to use to create mine. But I like how, see how there's kind of the black, and then there's a little bit darker green and a little bit lighter green. It just kind of adds kind of a fun depth or detail to it. So if you have markers and you want to test this out, you can do that. Also, another cool thing, because this is going to be snow, that's what these weird lines are with my Sharpie, is this is the ground, this is my horizon line, and this is going to be the ground, but it's covered in snow. So sometimes when snow is reflecting light off of it, it has kind of a bluish tint. So I thought maybe I could add a little bit of blue to these snowdrift lines and see if it looks like that reflection. A little bit of blue there. Ooh, mix some with my green. It's kind of a pretty color though. So, and a little bit of depth with our snow too. And notice there's parts that I'm painting that aren't even necessarily where there was blue before, but there's water on my brush, and the water mixed with the blue and kind of created a little bit of extra paint, if you will, that I can move around. So I thought I would include this detail before I went any further. Again, you do not have to use washable markers and water, but I just thought if you wanted to, it could be kind of fun. One last thing with how cool they look, they can make your lights actually look like they're glowing. like they're illuminated, like they're turned on. Then she'd really be in trouble, right? If she's got them turned on. So what I do is just kind of a little, maybe pick a side. And again, I kind of drag my brush so it's not so full of water. You can go outside the lines a little bit to give it a glow. So just like in paint, if you use one color, it's probably hard to tell, but I've got what looks like red paint, just like we could see with the blue. So I want to kind of wash that off before I get into the next color. But I can make my lights look like they're glowing. So I'm going to pause again, and I'm going to finish drawing and coloring, and then you guys can see my finished product in just a second. So here is my finished project. I thought about doing some kind of northern sky background, much like I did with the snow here, and I decided it might get a little too crazy with the lights. So I left it at this. You guys can use this as an idea to get you started, or you guys can come up with your own background. Again, it can just be a pattern, like what you did for your bears, or it can be some kind of setting, some kind of theme to go along with the character that you built. So I hope you guys have fun creating these.